Hey everybody, if you're considering swapping out your Maxx Air fan for a rooftop air conditioner, this video is for you. Stay tuned. We chose the Outequip 10,000 BTU air conditioner heating combo. We thought it was the best one. So here I am, I just received my Outequip air conditioner in the mail and I was so excited to get started. So here it is out of the box. Did make a list of things to do, and there are 15 steps to take. And so the first thing I did was I wanted to take a look at this unit. I wanted to see what it was all about. I decided I wanted to run the cable inside the unit rather than having a separate hole in my van. So I started to take the top apart, took some screws out, and here is the unit with the cover off. And I was just taking a look to see what I needed to do to get the wiring to go inside of the unit. So here's underneath the unit. As you can see, there's some wires coming out for the control panel. So a lot of videos don't show how you actually get this wire inside of the unit. So I want to go step by step and show you exactly what I did here. So there's the power cord right there, and it goes out right out the bottom, as you can see. And so I'm going to be rerouting this through the unit. There's a lot of maybe some misinformation out there, but there is a cover on this if you wanted to take these wires off completely if you needed to do that for some reason. In my case, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to try to fish this wire through that hole and get it to go through the unit itself so I can avoid putting another hole in the top of my van. The next thing I'm going to have to do is take that big gray cover off right there, and that's where I'm going to be able to run the wires through. But first I need to take the fuse off the end of the wire. There was a video I saw that showed that you run the wire through this spot, but I'm going to run it on the other side, as you will see shortly. Some of these screws are really hard to get to, so just take your time with this, and you might need some needle nose pliers to get in there so you don't lose anything. I think I might have lost a washer, but other than that, I was able to get this cover off and back on. So like I said, some spots are tough. Just take your time and you'll eventually get this cover off. It's kind of like a cooler type thing that you'd see in a grocery store. It's that foam material, so you got to be gentle with it as well. Alrighty, now here's that power cord, and the end of it has the fuse on it. Like I said, it won't fit through that hole, so you have to take an 8mm wrench and take this apart. And you could hold on to that till the end of the until the end. You're going to be tying that back on when you get to the battery part. So I stripped back some of the insulation wire to make it easier to run through, and now I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. As you can see, there's other wires going through that hole that they made, and I just ran the wires down to the bottom. And yeah, I had to hold up something. I used an oil filter or an oil can to hold that up, but I got the wire through no problem. And I'm gonna have to make this hole a little bit bigger, so just take a little bit of a razor knife and you can make that a little bigger. So now I just tie wrap that up and got all those wires nice and tight. As you can see, there's some gaps there where the wire is. So I did notice on the other side, I'll show you in a second here, they have another sealant for this other wiring, and there was a big piece on the top of it that I thought maybe I could use. So I'm gonna take my little cutter and cut a strip of this off and use that for the other side. So here's that piece of tape that I cut off the other side, and I'm gonna use that, and I'm just gonna get it and seal all this up. It's the perfect material for sealing these holes. You just gotta take your time and just press it in with your fingers. You can use a screwdriver or whatever and get into all the little cracks and crevices. Again, just take your time here. I think this is the best option for installing these air conditioners on the ceiling. The fact that you don't have to put a separate hole in your roof is, to me, it's a no-brainer. I just rather not have any more holes in the roof than I need to, so this is a great way to do it. So now that that's done and that cover's on, I'm just gonna wrap this up with some tie wraps and get this nice and snug. So now it's all set and it's wired through the unit coming out of the bottom there. And now I'm just gonna have to put the cover back on. Again, take your time. Some of these are very hard to get in. And when you put the cover back on, make sure the holes are lined up before you start putting the screws in, so you don't end up having to spend a lot of time doing this like I did. Yeah, once you see all the screws on, you're good to go. Now I'm back in the van. I have just taken the cover off the Maxx Air fan. I did spend a lot of time running a snake through the walls. I had to take some back paneling off, but I managed to get the string through there, and my idea is to run it through that little corner of the van there. And I have another string that's going down that pillar into where my electrical is. So it worked out really well. I was able to get that string through no problem. And so this Maxx Air fan only has 4 screws. There's 2 on each side. So once you take those off, it comes right out. The hard part is going to be taking off this, of course, the sealant and all the stuff that waterproofed it. all the time and effort I spent making sure that there would be no leaks back here. And here I am tearing it all apart. But it's going to be worth it because I've suffered through long enough summers of pretending that the Maxx Air fans were good enough and trying alternative ways of cooling the van down. I think the prices are real cheap now. Definitely worth the work and effort that I'm putting in right now. Although I'm glad I picked a nice cloudy day because it was kind of tough. Anyway, I got it preliminarily taken off. And there's some holes here I'm gonna have to seal, and I'm waiting for some other stuff to come here. So I'm just gonna do a really good job of cleaning this. And here we are, all cleaned up, ready to go. I am just awaiting some products, waiting for the Amazon truck to show up as we speak. So just looking this over, I did take some of that tubing and I used it there for the sharp corners so I don't cut any of the wiring up as I'm trying to fish this through. Again, I'm going to be running this down underneath the van. It's going to come out of the bottom of the pillar there, and I'm going to run it right over to my positive and negative bus bars. So it's not a very hard job to do. It's just the hardest job was thinking about how I'm going to get it through the ceiling. Thank God I took a lot of pictures, and I was able to see the interior of my van. So here's my punch list. I'm just running down the list here. Like I said, there's 15 steps. So the next day I got my gaps between the spaces, and then I'm gonna silicone the whole thing down, and I'm gonna put the gasket down that comes with the kit. So here we are, we got the gasket down. I put some of that other stuff, lap sealant down, which I love. The lap sealant worked out really good. So it's all siliconed and lap sealed up, and I got the back supports on for the back of the AC unit. And now it's time to actually drop this thing in. I am so excited at this point because it's getting down to, wow, this is actually becoming a reality. So my son helped me put this thing on the roof. We set it up and leveled it, got it all squared up. And now we're gonna be going inside and tightening down the inside. But check that out. Air conditioning and heating on a van, yes. That's a good feeling. Anyway, I had to take the supports and tighten the air conditioning down. And now I'm going to begin the process of getting these cables run down through the walls and tying everything in. So I'm down to the last couple details. So excited. So as soon as I got up in the morning, the first thought was I got to get these wires through. So I took my time, got these 2 wires fished through the ceiling, which was one of my biggest concerns. Is I didn't really want to have any wire exposed, and so this, taking that trim down and getting up in behind there, was really the best way to go. Once I put that trim back up, you won't even notice any wiring. Very happy about that. And I'll be putting all the covers back on there. So successful. I got both wires down, no problem. And then my first problem came when I tried to hook it up to the bus bar. Let's check this out. So the wiring was the wrong size on the end. I think it's a 3/8 that I needed. So good thing I have some of this that I kept from the old days of running all my cables. And there we go. I just hooked up the thing. The hardest part was actually putting those 4 screws in for that cover. I swear to God, that was so tough. But once I got that in, I have it running. It's fantastic. Life is good. Hey, thanks for watching our install video. We're going to be doing a couple more videos over the winter and into the summer next year to show you how well the air conditioner works in the wintertime and the summer. So stick around. Check us out on YouTube at Shelter in Places. Have a great day, guys.